What's up, Planeswalkers? It's your boy K-Dog, back in Standard with a Jun list. This one we're revisiting Bolas' Citadel. Bolas' Citadel is a pretty powerful artifact, legendary, 6 mana, 3, black, black, black. You can look at the top card of your library at any time. You can play lands and cast spells from the top of your library. If you cast a spell this way, pay life equal to its converted mana cost rather than pay its mana cost. And you can tap it to sack 10 non-land permanents, and each opponent loses 10 life. So it's kind of a nice way to kind of close out games there if you can kind of go wide. And obviously being able to play from the top of your library just by paying life means you need to gain a lot of life. So what we're doing here is pretty similar to the last version I did. We got the similar package to Destiny Spinner, Nessian Wanderer, and Dryad of the Elysian Grove, along with Nexus Wardens to kind of get your engine online. So Destiny Spinner is an enchantment creature, 2/3. Creatures and enchantment spells you control can't be countered. So you're playing a fair number of enchantments. This activated ability can be relevant at times. Playing 4 mana to give a land you control X, where X number of enchantments you control, and it has trample and haste. Nessian Wanderer is a 1/3 for 2. When an enchantment enters the battlefield in control, you look at the top 3 cards and reveal a land from among those 3 cards and put it into your hand, and the rest will go to the bottom of your library. Especially 3 colors is pretty relevant in the early to mid game. Being able to get lands out is pretty important, especially get the right kind of lands you need at the time. And Dryad of the Elysian Grove also works well with that. It's an enchantment creature, 2/4. You can play additional land on each of your turns, and lands you control are every basic land type in addition to their other types. So this kind of fixes all of our lands, so we don't really care. As long as we have lands out, we can pretty much cast whatever we want, because the Dryad turns those land into all colors, basically. Also, it's an enchantment creature, which synergizes with the, of course, the Nexus Wardens, which is a 1/4 for 3. Has reach, which is nice against a lot of aggro matchups. And whenever enchantment enters the battlefield under control, you gain 2 life. So we're trying to play a bunch of enchantments to gain a bunch of life off of Nexus Wardens, and be able to have life that we can use to then cast stuff off the top of our library with Bolas' Citadel. And the Nessian Wanderer also helps us kind of thin the deck of lands, ramp us, and things like that. So these cards work really well together. We also have Mire's Grasp for some early kind of interaction. Also, it's an enchantment, so it'll kind of synergize with our Nexus Wardens and everything like that. Enchanted creature is -3/-3, so it's going to kill a lot of creatures, especially the ones that we're mostly concerned about in the early game. And then even the late game, if it just kind of nerfs their creature and makes it much smaller, and so they don't really want to attack in with it, can be pretty impactful as well. Radha here is a new card here from M21, 3 mana, 3/3. As long as your turn, Radha has first strike. We can look at the top card of our library anytime and play lands from the top of our library. So it's kind of similar to the Nessian Wanderer a little bit, where it's kind of going to help us kind of ramp up a little bit, especially with the Dryad of Elysian Grove out, because we can play those lands, play additional lands. And then, of course, Bolas' Citadel. It's kind of overlapping effect. Both of us look at the top card of our library. Bolas' Citadel, of course, lets us play lands from the top of our library. But then once we... So you can get a bunch of lands in play with all these cards and all the synergy that's going on. And so you very easily get to the 6 mana activated ability. We can give Radha X plus X plus X on a turn, where X is the number of lands you control. So you're going to make Radha pretty big. So that'll be fun to see. So Nightmare Shepherd here is a 4 mana 4/4. It's an enchantment creature. Perfect. Whenever a non-token creature you control dies, you can exile. If you do, create a token that's a copy of that creature, except it's a 1/1 Nightmare. In addition to its other types. So it's going to come back, it's going to re-trigger any of our Nexus Wardens or Nessian Wanderer, things like that. So we'll get some more additional triggers, gain some more life, things like that. Would be pretty sweet. So yeah, we don't mind blocking, and later like a Destiny Spinner die, and then we can just exile it, have it come back as a 1/1, re-trigger our Wanderer, we trigger Nexus Wardens, gain some life, find some lands. It's pretty sweet. The Akroan War is kind of a one-sided board wipe. It's an enchantment, so it synergizes what we're trying to do. Gain control of creatures for as long as this remains on the battlefield. Until your next turn, your creatures on your opponent's side have to attack each combat if able. And then each tapped creature deals damage to itself equal to its power. So obviously these sagas take effect after your upkeep, or your untap upkeep right before your draw phase. So you'll have already untapped your creature, so it's just going to affect your opponent's creatures. And then you get to steal your opponent's thing, which can work with some of our cards. That could be pretty nice. Nylea here is a 4 mana 5/6 indestructible enchantment creature, so that's perfect. Devotion less than 5, Nylea isn't a creature, but we have quite a bit of green spells, as you can see. So getting to 5 devotion shouldn't be too hard. Creatures you cast cost 1 less to cast, so that's pretty amazing ability, since we are very creature focused. And 3 mana to look at the top card of our library, and if it's a creature card, we can put it into our hand, otherwise put it into our graveyard. So another way to kind of interact with the top of our library, so very synergistic there. So if something we don't want or need, we can just pay 3 to reveal it, even though we've already maybe seen it with both the Citadel or Radha or something like that. This lets us then put it into our graveyard, so we can kind of keep digging for more spells. Vraska here, just a solid card in pretty much any Golgari list. 4 mana Planeswalker, +2 to sack a permanent. If you do, gain 1 life, draw a card. So we're going to get through quite a bit of lands a lot of times with this deck, and so you can sacrifice all those additional lands you don't necessarily need to a Vraska to keep drawing cards and getting life. And of course the -3 is relevant in lots of matchups as well, being able to destroy any non-land permanent for mana cost 3 or less. And then the -9 is pretty much game ending, where any creature deals damage to a player, that player loses the game. Alright, Cavalier of Night here. It's a 5 mana 4-powered creature, 4/5 lifelinker. When it comes down, we can sack another creature. If we do, we destroy a creature on our opponent's side. So since we are very creature focused, this lets us kind of kill something on our opponent's side while still having a creature down. And then the 4 lifelinking is pretty powerful as well, both the Citadel. And if your opponent does have removal for it, you get one of your creatures back. 3 or less. So Radha, your Nexus Wardens, whatever. And we can also sacrifice something that we've stolen with the Akroan War. And once you get to the late game, you don't really need Nessian Wanderer anymore. It actually gets to be more of a nuisance, this ability, than anything. And so you're happy to sacrifice that as well. So it just kind of depends on where you're at with your board state. And another new card here is Elder Gargaroth. It's a 5 mana 6/6 Vigilance, Reach, Trample. Whenever it attacks or blocks, we get a 3/3 Beast. We can gain 3 life, or we get to draw a card. Choose one of those. And all 3 of these are relevant with what we're trying to do. We're trying to go wide, get a bunch of creatures out. And let's say not both the Citadel, it doesn't care that tapped ability, 10 non-land permanents. It doesn't say non-token, it just says non-land permanent. So tokens doesn't matter. So pretty much everything on Elder Gargaroth here is synergizes extremely well with what we're trying to do. Obviously, we want life, we want to draw cards, and we want to make more creatures. So just kind of choose the best one for your particular situation there. But yeah, ton of value there. Vivien here, another card that lets us interact with the top of our library. Be able to cast creature spells on top of our library. And +1 to make a 3/3 beast, so let's go wide, like I said. And with those tokens, go nicely with the Bolas of Citadel to kind of finish off your opponent. And -2 to get additional creatures on the board. When you cast a spell, you get a creature with lesser mana cost than whatever you cast. And we have a nice array of creatures here, so definitely going to be some nice targets to tutor up if that's what you're looking for. Play your Gargaroth and go tutor up Nylea, a Nightmare Shepherd, even like a Radha. It's plenty of value there. Just 2 copies of Bolas of Citadel. It's legendary, 6 mana. We don't really want to see this like in our open hand and things like that. So 2 copies. We're eventually going to draw into it, and that's how we want to do it. And finally, at the top end here, we got Liliana. Just trying to increase the power level a little bit more. She's a very powerful planeswalker, 6 mana 6/6. When any creature you control dies, draw a card. +1, make a 2/2 zombie. Obviously, it works well with the Citadel, like I said. -4, each player sacrifices 2 creatures. We're kind of going wide, so I don't necessarily mind doing that. And -9, each opponent chooses a permanent they control of each permanent type and sacrifices the rest. So they get to choose 1 land, 1 enchantment, 1 artifact, 1 creature, 1 planeswalker, and everything else gone. So that's pretty amazing. And mana base here. Obviously, we need a fair number of lands. So we have, 25, I believe? Yeah, 25. Because you're going to be drawn into some lands as well with Nessian Wanderer and things like that. And Radha, of course. So 2 swamps, 2 mountains, 3 forests. Since we are mostly green, obviously we have a lot of 2-drops that are green. We need to make sure we get those down consistently. 3 Blood Crypt, 2 Temple of Malice, 3 Overgrown Tomb, 2 Temple of Malady, 3 Stomping Grounds, 2 Temple of Abandon, and 3 Fabled Passage. And these temples work really well once you get the Bolas of Citadel online. You can kind of scry away any lands or spells that you don't necessarily need at that particular time. And then Fabled Passage gives us that fixing that we need. Alright, sideboard. We got 3 Agonizing Remorse for those mid-range control matchups. Some catch-all removal here and a couple Assassin's trophies. 1 Spyglass to deal with planeswalkers or anything with active ability we don't like. Klothys is an enchantment creature. Devotion 7 for red and green. Obviously we should have a fair amount of green devotion at least. Red, maybe not quite so much, but obviously Klothys counts itself. That's 2 right there. I just need 5 more on top of that. Obviously feel pretty comfortable running Nylea in the main, so getting Klothys down in a lot of situations should be fine. But it's a nice kind of graveyard hate or ramp. Since we do both of those abilities are pretty relevant for what we're trying to do as well. So if we exile land, we got to add some mana. Otherwise, we just gain 2 life and deal 2 damage to our opponent. And it's a 3 mana 4/5 legendary enchantment creature. So pretty nice synergy there. And sometimes the Akroan War isn't quite good enough, so we've got a couple Extinction Events. Don't really want Ritual Soak because we don't want to necessarily kill our creatures. So we can kind of pick and choose and kind of play around odd or even depending on what creatures we have out in play. Maybe hold some creatures back if we know we're going to cast this and things like that. But Extinction Event's going to help us out in a lot of matchups. Rankle if we need to be a little bit more aggressive against kind of those mid-range and deck controlling type decks. Kind of haste us in, hit them for 3, maybe make them discard or something like that. Discard obviously isn't the worst thing for us because, once we get our Bolas of Citadel online, we don't necessarily need cards in hand. We just play off the top of our library, so we're not really too worried about the discard effect. But being able to hit your opponent and make them discard something, maybe even chip away at their life total by making each player draw a card and lose a life can certainly be relevant as well. But yeah, just being able to haste us in and force your opponent to discard is pretty powerful. One Arasta here can come in certain aggro matchups. Just a 3/5 body can be a nice wall for your opponent to have a hard time getting around. And then if any instants or sorceries they cast, you get 1/2 spider tokens. And it's an enchantment creature as well. So gotta love the synergy there. Questing Beast, just a fantastic card, obviously. So we're just gonna run it out of our sideboard. Doesn't really synergize what we're trying to do, but certain matchups you just need to kind of increase that power level a little bit. And Questing Beast is gonna kind of help you fill in that gap there. And finally, help out with those control matchups. We got Chandra, Awakened in for no 6 mana, can't be countered. Give your opponent an emblem where it deals 1 damage to them on their upkeep. You can -3 as kind of a mini board wipe. -3 damage to each non-elemental creature, and then -X to deal damage to a creature or a planeswalker, and then if it dies, it just goes to exile instead. So pretty powerful card there. All right, jump into some matches, see how it does. All right, up against Jean. It's a little land heavy, but we've got the temples kind of help us scry. Elder Gargaroth is a pretty sweet card, so we'll give it a try. Another 2-drop. Alright, we'll temple, find something that's not a land. Wander. Yeah, I guess we'll start there, start getting some more lands out of the deck. I'm not sure how much we'll find with all these lands in hand. Alright, get you down, so we show them that we're in Jund, and we'll see if they have a way to kill it. It's a 1/3, so if they do, that's fine. I'd like to get the enchantment value, but wow, Toll of the Invasion. So you did nothing in turn 1, turn 2, and turn 3. You Toll of the Invasion. Take away the Gargaroth. Sure. I do want to get this Nexus Warden online as well, so maybe we'll actually just run that out there. And they just got a 1/1, so I think we'll attack. Got a 1/4 as well. Is just kind of a mono black discard, or? 4 mana and you've got no place? No idea what's going on here. We can play both the Destiny Spinners now and get that life back. So could have done that first and assumed we were going to hit a land, but not too worried about it. I guess we go... it doesn't matter too much. We should have everything we need land-wise. And yeah, we'll keep swinging in. So we got Gargaroth next turn, Fabled Passage into Gargaroth. A couple of temples to kind of follow that up. We don't know what our opponent's up here. Toll the Invasion. Okay, so mono black amass. Maybe they're missing another color and that's why they haven't been able to cast anything. I'm not sure what's going on. Another Nexus Warden. I think we just want to get this Gargaroth online. Which have, actually we're missing black, so probably should have maybe searched up a swamp. We've got two sources in hand, so not too worried about it. I mean, they can build block and kill something, but I don't think I really care too much. Sure. So they just want to take all the damage. Gargaroth online. Hopefully we can keep that around. Get some nice card draw. Okay, so just a bad mono black devotion list. Sure. Radha's pretty cool. Radha is very cool. Let's swing in for 6. What do we want to do here? On draw or gain. Just go wide here. Try to pressure them that way. See, Radha will give us a peek at the top of our library. Okay. I think we want that. Take away some devotion. Doesn't really match up with their 1-2 and 2-4, but we can maybe take Gray just to kind of slow down their devotion and also give us another blocker maybe. Alright, they pack it in. Alright, that's a 5, that's an even, that's an even. Yeah, we don't really see too much else. So I'm not sure if Extinction Event's the right answer. Don't think we need Clothis. Maybe just want like I mean, the Akroan War didn't quite seem to line up too well with what they're doing, so we could definitely take that out for Extinction Event. I think Vraska could be interesting. Maybe take out a Vraska. And give us a nice blocker here for some of their creatures if they're able to kind of go wide a little bit. I mean, Vraska kills a lot of what they're doing though. So that's interesting. But I think Arasta is fine. Chandra could be decent as well, but I think Liliana fills that slot just fine. I guess we could still like if they do get the amass token pretty high, we could always just steal that. So that could be fun. We'll just leave the Akroan War in. We'll see how that goes. If we go to game 3, maybe we bring in the Extinction Event for the Akroan War. But otherwise, it doesn't seem like we need to do too much in this matchup. One land and a Bolas Citadel. One land again. Oh boy, yeah, a lot of late stuff. If we can find a land with Nessian Wanderer, then that's pretty good. We've got the Mire's Grasp to always probably get some value. So I'm gonna try it. I guess Cavalier is kind of the most. It's got triple black in the casting cost, so I think it makes it the hardest to justify keeping. Also isn't a very good hand, but we do need to scry into some lands, and we're running a lot, so there we go. So obviously Bolas Citadel not we want to see on this early in the game, but it is what it is. Okay, they had a swing in 1 Death Touch. We play our Nessian Wanderer, hope it lives, and we can Mire's Grasp and dig for lands. That's kind of the strategy at this point. And we do have a Nightmare Shepherd and Gargaroth in the works, so that's pretty cool. They got the Demonic Embrace, and we don't have good ways of interacting with that. We can Mire's Grasp it, but it's still a pretty powerful threat. Go Blood Crypt. Tapped. So still have a 2-powered flyer on board. We just need to survive a couple more turns to get this Gargaroth online. Still think we say no blocks. Just take 3 down to 8. We got the Nightmare Shepherd now, so that'll kind of help us out quite a bit. And it'll give us our 5th land. That's a tap land. So if nothing else, we do have another Nightmare Shepherd. This has Menace, so they can get in for. Oh man, of course they have removal for it. So we're hurting here, but we're not dead just yet. So we can't block the Dread Malkin. We can block the Thalmire Knight. I think we just do that now just to preserve our life total where we can. They can sack it and grow the Dread Malkin. Yep. So they hit for 5. We're down to 3, and this is just the Dread Malkin makes it lethal because we have to block with 2. That was pretty perfect start from them. Obviously we had a pretty bad mulligan there. Alright, obviously Arasta still blocks. I do like Nylea, but I think we need the removal that Vraska provides, so let's do that. And I think we should cut Vivien. I think we want that extra little bit of a removal here. Bring in a trophy. And yeah, all the creatures seem like they have higher toughness, so the Akroan War not going to do a whole lot. So let's bring in the Extinction Events. And do you want the second trophy? It's tempting. Just don't really want to take anything out though. So we'll run it back. Maybe we could shave off one Radha for a trophy. But that's fine. We got the Extinction Events, so we'll see how it goes. Obviously we're going to be on the play this time. I mean, they had pretty much a dream start, especially with our situation factored in. So, yeah, just the way it goes. Alright, so we got Destiny Spinner, so we got nice 2/3 body that can kind of hold down the fort for a couple of turns. Then we can Nexus Wardens and go for these Dryads and get some nice value off of that, hopefully. Don't have to shock in. We found another land. If they kill it, it's whatever. It's less removal to have for our other creatures. I guess we're deciding whether to kill it or play something. No, they want to get a creature down. Get you down, then we start getting a bunch of life. We could attack there, but I think we're kind of need to be a little more defensive here. They've shown they can be pretty wide, pretty quick. We least have reach on the Nexus Warden, so if they do get another Demonic Embrace, we can kind of block it if we want to, but they're just gaining the life, obviously. Malefic Scythe, sure. Alright, get the Dryad down. Gain a bunch of life. A little temple. So the Tapland Scribe. Don't need all three of these out. One is just fine. And we'll play the Blood Crypt tapped as well. And say go. Alright, so not ideal here. We do need to find something to kind of get this engine online so we can kind of keep digging through our deck. We're going to be gaining some life, which is nice. I'll be able to kind of ramp nicely with the Dryads, but without anything to really play or follow it up with. So, pretty medium. I'm guessing they have something here, so we'll say no. Take two. We have plenty of life gain, and we're at 22, now 20. Gargaroth, that's more what we're looking for. So they seem to have some kind of a trick, so I'm not sure it's really worth attacking here. We're heading for 5, maybe? Let's attack, see what they got. Whether they use it now and not on our Gargaroth. What do we need with this Fabled Passage? We have 3 black sources for a Bolas Citadel. We have 3 red, 2 green. So just grab a forest. No blocks, no tricks. Take 5, sure. Alright, so basically we just need this Gargaroth to live, and then we can kind of start getting some card advantage going. If you want to draw some cards, don't need life, don't need creatures. And they... -2, okay. And what else? Oh, they have Grasp of Darkness. Well, I mean, they use 2 removal spells to get rid of it, so that's something. So they wanted to... If they want to kill these, they could have Grasp of Darkness those at any point. Obviously, Dryad says we can tap for mana of any color, but I'd rather just kind of thin the deck. So we'll grab a green source, I believe. Land. That is not ideal. We're going to gain some life. We have mana open to activate our Destiny Spinner. But they've got a 2/3 and a 3/3 back, so we don't have good attacks. we have our kind of early engine online, but nothing to really do with it. We really needed that Gargaroth to give us some card advantage, but our opponent wisely held up their removal. So maybe we should have blocked the Lazotep Reaver earlier, so they would have maybe used up their removal then and not had a way to deal with our Gargaroth. It's a pretty frustrating spot to be in, but they're not really pressuring our life total, so it's fine. Nightmare Shepherd's a pretty reasonable draw. Oh, still can't attack. And now they have a way to kill our Nightmare Shepherd. Perfect. So they've just kind of been hold up removal patiently for all the right creatures. And we've been drawing terribly. Alright, so we can probably just want to kill that 3/3. So now that our mass starts over from scratch, we'll hold back, protect our Vraska. We can start throwing these lands away to her to try to draw some cards. That's a pretty nice one. Timeret, sure. So they're going to start going wide with some Zombinos here. Looking at our Vraska. Gray Merchant. Okay, we're at 24, now we go down to 19, they're back up to 20. Wander. Yeah, we'll sack a land. We don't need a mountain here. Stomping Ground, okay. I see how it is, deck. I mean, we have all of our early creatures down, none of our really late game stuff. I mean, they've had a fantastic job holding up removal to kind of pick off our key creatures, and we just can't get any traction going, can't put any pressure on them. We at least have a Vraska down to kind of start drawing an extra card every turn. But yeah, this is not an ideal spot to be in. Liliana's not bad. I think we go for the -4. Probably don't need you. Probably don't need 2 of you. Obviously, want the life gain from this. 1 Dryad is good, and Destiny Spinner is also nice for its activated ability. And we need to draw some cards. Really, is the kind of the key thing there. So we get a land, of course, because we're drawing a million lands. We will plus. We'll sack a land. Okay, a couple more Nexus Wardens. Alright, taking a couple life. Gonna scry a little bit. Still have 2 cards in hand, as do we. But not really the best creatures. Davriel. Okay. I have this weird discard sub-theme that doesn't seem very good. I got a 4/6. We can't actually kill it thanks to the Scythe, but we get to draw. Rest. Alright. I'd like to get a Rasta down, but I think I'd rather just go for the Nightmare Shepherd into Nexus Warden. Actually, we should have messed up that order. That's fine. Alright, we got a 2/2 zombie. And does that zombie matter? I guess we needed to block the Grey Merchant. So we'll draw another card. We can discard that to Davriel and keep the Rasta. So I don't love sacking all these lands, so I'm not sure if we'll keep doing that much longer. But now we finally have a decent board state going on. It's been a real grind. And Mire Triton, they're going to gain some more life. Alright, we'll keep our Nightmare Shepherd safe and just hit them for exactly 6. They can kill one thing here. But I want to get that Grey Merchant off and obviously protect our Planeswalkers. And we go for the Destiny Spinner. To draw a card. I'll take that action, draw some cards. Okay. Or gain some life, I should say. So opponent concedes. D deck. Up against Den Des 7N. That's an awkward hand. Don't think we can keep it. This is not much better. We can at least Fabled Passage for a black source and have some removal. And that we're just kind of praying for lands. Without thinking to sacrifice, Cavalier I guess probably goes. Bolas, of course. Draw a 6-mana spell when we're stuck on lands, and we had to mulligan to a crappy hand. Perfect. Shock. And of course we're against some kind of a mono-red shenanigans. Grab a swamp. Well, we have removal for if they do play a creature, like a Steamkin or whatever. Mastiff. Let's just fire that off right now. We need to kind of preserve our life total against this deck. Just buy as much time as possible so we can get lands, get our Vraska, get our Gargaroth online. We get our Gargaroth against this deck, we should be in good shape. I need multiple burn spells to kind of deal with it. Alright, 3-2. I guess we just fire off this Vraska. Could have a shock for it, but so be it. Ember Holland. If they want to, they could sack that any time to carve Vraska. Okay. Infuriate. Probably not the best move there, but what do I know? Well, plus. I'll decline. No idea what our opponent's up to. They're just kind of seem to be goofing off. We'll attack. I think we just want to draw some cards. We're at 16, so I'm not too worried about that. Just want to get some more stuff online. Okay, Nessian's pretty good. Vivien, but I think we'll just fire off this Wanderer and Dryad and kind of dig for some lands. Let's go Blood Crypt. That's fine. Plus, don't think we want to sack anything. We got our Bolts of Citadel online next turn. 1, 2, 3 black sources. Yep. Yeah, our opponent's just kind of screwing around, looks like. Oh yeah, we can kill their tokens, but don't think we care about that. There's Bolas Citadel. Nightmare Shepherd. Sure, we can pay life. Blood Crypt, sure. Temple. Let's scry away this Overgrown Tomb. Really? This Shuffler is... Shuffler is fine, people. Alright. We're going to gain life off of the Gargaroth. So that's fine. Don't care about the Akroan War, so we'll swing in there. We'll gain some life back. So I'd like to see a Nexus Wardens, but doesn't really matter. Our opponents aren't really doing much. We'll plus. I don't think we really need to draw that, so we'll pass the turn. Yeah, get a nice look at how Bolas Citadel should operate. Ooh, Staple Blaze. There goes our Gargaroth. We can exile it. We don't really care about our graveyard. Just a 1/1, but we still get its abilities. Block with the Gargaroth to get some value, but yeah, I'm fine with just doing that. And they're basically just dead. We could see if we can kind of go off here a little bit. Oh, there we go. That's what we're looking for. Don't need Cavalier on empty board, obviously. I mean, life I think could be nice, but it doesn't really matter right now. Yeah, there's not really much else we can do here, so we'll just swing in, get some more life, and go to game 2. I've got some kind of a weird mono red deck. So I probably want Clothis. So we'll take out Radha. She's cool, but I'd rather have Clothis here for the life gain. If we're struggling to get Devotion, if they have lots of burn, then maybe Nylea's not as good. The Aresta. If they have like tokens, then probably Akroan War is not as good either, though. Alright, we'll leave Nylea in, we'll bring in one questing beast, since they can kind of swing through their tokens and their 2/2s and things like that. And should be fine. Obviously the only thing that was kind of screwing us up there was the mulligan and kind of a slow start, but once we were kind of able to get past that, we were in good shape there. So we took quite a bit of damage to our own life total, but we had ways of recovering it. And our opponent being empty-handed there and no board state, it just did not matter. Yeah, Bolas Citadel is such of a sweet card. Obviously going to be rotating here pretty soon. Still sees play in Historic thanks to the Wild Growth Walker Explorer package. This hand seems reasonable. Temple into Tomb, and maybe search up a red source with that. Got some removal. Nylea is not amazing here, but it's okay. Still lead on Temple. Don't need another one. Probably go Tomb, unless we need to Mire's Graph something. Could have that Pack Mastered Goblin. That's probably worth killing. Just kind of slow him down as much as possible. Alright, so now we can shock either one of these in. Just want to get this Nexus Wardens online. Obviously the 4 toughness is going to be hard for them to deal with. They have the Escapable Blaze, which deals 6, but that's alright. Spell Gorger is a little scary. We could kill that next turn, or we can also kill it with the Vraska. So if they just play some creatures here and leave it as 2/2, then that's fine. If they only play one spell and grow it to a 3/3, that's fine. Unless they have mana open, they could still have like a shock in response, in which case Mire's Grasp doesn't do a whole lot because they can just keep growing it with counters. Okay, Goblin Gathering puts a counter, makes a couple 1/1s instead of mana open. So I just have to Vraska here. I think we'll tutor up a Swamp. Could be a shock, so I'd rather keep our Nexus Wardens online. Or Infuriate, yep. I don't know why you want to do that before blocks are declared, but okay. You do you. Alright, so make sure we have 3 black sources for our Bolas Citadel, and make sure you use these basic lands with the Bolas Citadel and the artwork, otherwise probably not going to be as successful. Alright, kill that. They can swing both and kill our Vraska, but that's fine. We got their biggest threat off the board. Then we got Nightmare Shepherd and Nylea coming down the pipe. Of course, Nylea is still a little bit off of Devotion. Vraska has 1, Wardens only has 1, and then Nylea has 1, so it'll be 3, so we're still 2 short of Devotion there. So probably just going for this Nightmare Shepherd. Alright, one's going super wide, so Vraska is probably not going to be around too much longer. Well, they decide it's not worth attacking. Alright, well, we'll get our Shepherd down. Gain some life back. We'll plus. I don't think we want to get rid of anything, so we'll just decline. No attacks. Just try to keep our Vraska around as long as possible. Obviously, anytime they can swing all and kill it. But if we can kind of keep them from being incentivized to do so, then let's just hold back our creatures here. Obviously, we're at 13, they're at 20, so we're firmly a late game deck, so we're fine with them doing whatever here. We just want to get to survive to the late game, and then we can kind of take over with the Bolas Citadel and things like that. And with the Nexus Wardens online, we can kind of gain life back that way. They could have an Infuriate here, but we can always exile with the Shepherd to keep it alive, and they have nothing. Okay. So if they did Infuriate and tried to kill our Nexus Wardens, we'd have just exiled it there. Yeah, we'll play Nexus Wardens, get a bunch of life. Play you, and kill the 3/2. So we have exactly 6 lands now, that's where we want to be. So we'll plus, decline, yeah, still no attacks. Could start hitting with the Shepherd. Since they do still have these 4 1/1s, we're at 13 though. So we'll be passive just a little bit longer here. Alright, opponent's starting to empty their hand. So now we have a better idea of what's going on. Don't have to play around Infuriates and things like that anymore. So we can with confidence start picking off these tokens. And they're just going at our face. So they get in for 1 and lose 3 of their tokens. Cool. 1 land off of being able to do both, but Nylea doesn't really do a whole lot by herself. Way to gain some life, which is nice. Yeah, let's do that. Let's sack it. I want to draw some cards. Hopefully find a 4th land. And then exile it back down and get some more triggers. You don't really need the fixing. So Temple, don't need that. And I think we'll actually start swinging in. Alright, put him down to 16. Alright, so Nylea should be a creature now. We have exactly 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then her would be 5. Vraska's getting closer to ultimate territory. What's that way to deal with our flyer? Chandra's Outrage. Well, they tap out to do it, so we can kind of block with confidence. Alright, block there, prevent 2. We'll block. Yeah, we'll just block like that. No reason to trade off the token there. So we'll Nylea. And we have mana opens up at the top of our library. We're going to gain some life back. Plus decline. Play out you. Well, I guess we'll activate this now, doesn't matter. Destiny Spinner. Okay. Only costs 1 mana now. Yeah, no attacks. Next turn. Well, now they went wide, so we can't win with Vraska's ultimate, so we're gonna keep ticking up, and we'll minus her next turn. Opponent's just trying to suicide. They have mana open, so they could still have like an Infuriate or something, but don't really care. Let's kill the Urchin. It's got Trample. Another Vraska. So we got ultimate and play Vraska. Alright, well, double Nexus Wardens online, getting us a bunch of life. Let's see, they have 4 blockers, so no reason to attack here. We've got the emblem. I think we'll actually pick off this Mastiff. They can have their tokens. And now they're in a pretty bad spot. We'll do this now, so we don't hold a priority. Nessian Wanderer. That's pretty good. Say no attacks. We'll just kind of hold back. No rush here. Okay, we found another Pack Mastiff. So they have exactly creatures to block us, so still can't get the Vraska one unless they attack. You're empty-handed, so no reason for us not to block. Well, the opponent just has a daily to attack with 1,000,000 creatures. Or if they're just bored and just want to turn them sideways, you can know the feeling. Wait. What's this one? Make it a little bit hard to see sometimes. There we go. Okay, now we see all the arrows lined up. Perfect. So they lose all their tokens. We take no damage. Don't lose anything. We could get to the Vraska win, but meh. Alright, Nessian Wanderer. Cavalier. Don't really need the Wanderer, so we'll sack. Destroy you. I kind of want to just keep playing here, but we should probably just end this and wrap it up. So we just need to hit with 1 creature, but we'll swing all. They go down to 6, but we get the Vraska win. Ooh, 5 emblems. Triggered the emblem 5 times, I should say. Alright, so Radha's Citadel. Pretty fun little list. Obviously, with the enchantment package, you have lots of ways to kind of gain life. So we're basically a bend but don't break. We have lots of high toughness creatures with the 4 toughness, 3 toughness, etc. in the early game to kind of keep your opponent's attacks at bay and just need to kind of survive into the late game. Obviously, Vraska has a ton of synergy there. It was pretty fun sacking some creatures to the Nightmare with the Nightmare Shepherd in play, and then be able to exile it, and then just get additional triggers with gaining life and things like that. Nessian Wanderer is pretty critical in the early stages. Kind of get those, help you get those lands, kind of help you thin your deck. But yeah, everything else is kind of there just for that enchantment synergy. Dryad was nice, kind of fixing our lands and giving us a nice enchantment creature as well. Radha was pretty cool. I think I see it go off, but you can definitely see the potential there because we can get quite a bit of lands out and play pretty quickly once you kind of get your engine online. And obviously Dryad and Nessian Wanderer go a long way towards that. And so yeah, Radha could be pretty out of control in certain situations. Akroan War is kind of a nice little tempo removal play as an enchantment as well. It's pretty sweet. Nylea being able to interact with the top of your library is fantastic. Obviously life gain from Cavalier of Night and Elder Gargaroth are pretty clutch as well. Don't really get to see that too much, but obviously the Gargaroth put in some work there. And then Vivien is kind of a nice one. You can kind of easily take this out for something else. Maybe you should just be running the 3rd Gargaroth, but nice having a Vivien, just kind of mix it up a little bit. She's a powerful planeswalker here. And of course, Liliana, our Lord and Savior here. Just really powerful 6 mana planeswalker at our top end. Just gives us a nice power level here. And of course, Bolas Citadel. That's a really fun card. Happy to kind of play around with it in kind of a janky but still kind of powerful way, but not overpowered like you see in like the historic version with like the Wild Growth Walkers. It seems maybe a little bit kind of overpowering in certain matchups. And the sideboard, is always kind of it kind of depends on what kind of matchups you're seeing out there. But yeah, this kind of gives us a nice variety of answers. Don't want to go too far away from the enchantments. That's why I want to include like things like Arasta and Clothis. But obviously you need some hand hate with the Agonizing Remorse. We're pretty late game deck, so obviously being able to shut down like an Ugin is pretty critical if you're actually going to face off against those decks in ranked. I don't know how good this is going to be in ranked. Obviously at the lower levels, any reasonably constructed deck can hold its own and kind of help you out. Once you get a little bit higher up, things like this probably don't work as well because there's just not that much margin for error. And Extinction Event is kind of a nice sweeper. I definitely think it's probably better than Ritual of Soot in most situations, or Cry of the Carnarium. Although with all of our high toughness creatures, you can definitely make a case to run like a Cry of the Carnarium. There we go. Or even like a Flame Sweep maybe. But yeah, like Extinction Event, just because it's just more of a variety of matchups that can be useful against. So, if your opponent has like big creatures like mono green and things like that, Extinction Event can be pretty helpful to kind of get rid of things like that. And I was looking for some additional discard, and I was thinking about like maybe like a Davrail or things like that, but I decided to like on Rankle because it's it's a hasty body with also forces your opponent to discard, so that's pretty cool. And obviously with the Nightmare Shepherd out, and then you sack something, then you're still getting additional triggers with that when you exile it and have it come back to the battlefield. So that's pretty cool. And Rust also kind of helps you go wide with the tokens, and maybe you can get your Bolas Citadel off there as well. And then we're not running Quest Beast in the main, so a couple copies in the sideboards to give us some extra power. And Chandra's just really sweet all around. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. And until next time, make sure you jank with purpose.